Hey y'all, it's Jodi here, and you're listening to my flippin' podcast.
Y'all, you just gotta embrace the suck.
I'm in my 30s. I have 3 kids,
All born in different decades.
selling houses, flipping houses, renting houses, raising kids, random farm animals.
I can't deal.
Hey y'all, this is Jodi Terrell, and you're listening to my flippin' podcast. And I'm so excited today because I have Mr. Trey Staples with me. Trey is the owner of Gadsden Outfitters, which we all lovingly called Go. He's done some fantastic branding and marketing with the Go logo. And Gadsden Outfitters has become one of our favorite stores. So I wanted to have Trey on today to talk to us a little bit about his entrepreneurial start, and he's got a lot of really exciting things going on with the expansion of the store. I mean, you basically have taken over an entire shopping center almost, gone from a smaller little section to all the way around. And then I also want to get into your latest endeavor, which involves water sports. I won't spoil it, but it's
Can we jump in now?
It's getting close to summertime. Do you want to go there first?
No. I just want to get in the water.
He just wants to get in the water.
Just want to get in the water, man.
So if you're ever in Gadsden Outfitters and you happen to see a guy riding around on what do you call it, a one wheel?
The brand actually calls it a one wheel, which almost is like insulting to intelligence. Because people go, what is that? It's a one wheel? Well, no, but what is it? I'm like, no, I'm sorry, bro. They actually named it one wheel. But it's glorious.
It is very cool.
They should call it the glorious round wheel, the glorious whatever. It goes 19 miles an hour, and it takes me wherever I lean. Whichever direction I decide to go, there's where it goes.
I mean, you actually pulled up on it today.
It's like bloody snowboarding in Alabama.
I really am jealous of your ability to do that. I so want to try it. Every time I see it.
I could have you doing it in 5 minutes in the back parking lot.
I'm so scared.
Many people are the people are scared all the time.
I see those videos of people on hoverboards.
Yeah.
And they're like...
Well, you only see the videos of people on hoverboards that wreck. If somebody doing it good, it's like, oh, okay, move on. You know, you're like, as soon as you're like, okay, he's not going to wreck. I'm moving on to something else.
That one.
There's a kitty cat. Yay!
That's true. That's
so
true.
You only see the videos of people wiping out.
Yeah. Do you sell those at the store?
Yes, we do.
And then you got bicycles. So let's talk a little bit about Gadsden Outfitters.
Okay, cool.
So what were you doing? Because I don't even know your history prior to Go.
I started out leaving Alexandria, where I graduated high school, went to Alabama, did the ROTC and a marketing degree, went to the Air Force as a second lieutenant, moved to California, and got put into Space Command, which is weird and ridiculous altogether, because I was a marketing degree, like making my nameplate.
Yeah.
And creatively was extra bonus points, and now they want me to do engineering, so... I went and did that until they told me not to. Man, I was always about do whatever you tell me to do. I wanted to fly originally.
Yeah.
I wanted to go fast and blow stuff up. And then I just wanted to go fast, and then I just wanted to go up. And then they were like, nope, you're stuck on the ground. Fly in a chair. And I love the Air Force. Don't get me wrong, I love the Air Force, but they call it the Chair Force.
The Chair Force?
Edit that.
It's okay.
The Army and the Navy and the rest of the guys are going to laugh about that I divulged that. But, yeah, man. So I did that until they told me not to. Came home, moved to Florida. Always still wanted to fly, so I just got a student loan. It was 2008. The recession was just beginning, and they were giving student loans away like bread in Russia. No, wait, they didn't give that away. You had to bring wheelbarrow loads of money. They were giving away student loans mad. So I said, hey, sign me up. Give me a $75,000 loan to move to Daytona and go to school, fly on a plane, and it was great. And then I hit $75,000 max and realized, holy crap, it's going to take another $75 just to finish. So I got my instrument rating, and I did the commercial ground course and thought, hey, before I go any more in debt, let's go home. I got everything accomplished I wanted to accomplish. Came home. My cousin owned an outdoor store, so I bided my time. And luckily, he said, "Hey, you want to buy it?" So
Lee was your cousin, or Lee is your cousin?
Absolutely.
I did not know that.
Absolutely. What, you couldn't tell by the ginger.
You're not quite as ginger as Lee.
No, he's got me beat.
He does.
Thankfully.
He does. I did not know that. Well,
I don't burn as easy as him.
You know what I love about doing this podcast is that I always find out such interesting things about people that you just don't know. I mean, so you came out of high school and went into the Air Force?
ROTC,
to ROTC
at the University of Alabama. So
okay.
I still had to wear a uniform once a week and shave and all that jazz and do the classes and do the history and learning and all that, which is what you would normally do in the military if you go in without any knowledge.
Right.
You'd still have to do all that. I just did it in college before they gave you college credits for, which is redonkulous because I could have gotten college credits for that these days. But nonetheless, yes, you go and you learn all that jazz, plus they make you talk in front of people and do presentations, and which helps, absolutely helps. I think they put that under a communications degree now, and then yes, after that, graduated, you went on into the Air Force. And
How long were you in the Air Force?
Just 4 years, 3 months.
Yeah.
I was thinking about trying to do 10.
Yeah.
10-ish. But then 04 rolled around, budgetary cuts in the military, and all the heavy laden officers. They're like, hey, we got to let you guys go. We don't need you to do acquisitions. We have now contractors for all that. So there's tons of contractors in the military now.
Yeah.
It makes sense as a budgetary.
Yeah.
They still have like $4,000 hammers and all that other.
I actually have a friend of mine who was in Afghanistan and forever. I mean, he's still overseas. He flies drones. And, they were saying, we're pulling all the troops out. Well, he was still there. Well, they never left. They just switched from government to government contractors, which he loved because he got paid more money.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. But then we can say that we don't have troops overseas.
Absolutely.
Because they're technically not working for the U.S. government.
Dude, we do all kinds of crazy stuff like that.
Crazy.
But whatever.
Yeah.
He's getting banked.
Yeah. Totally making
Tons
of money. So now, fast forward, you said the recession was hitting.
Oh,
you
yeah,
decided to come home.
I was a financial advisor. I started out helping my dad in his business. I came back to finish helping him in his business, and in the meantime transitioned into becoming a financial advisor and trying to get people to save their money, invest their money, to grow their money, and that was pointless.
I can't really see you as a financial advisor.
Well, I mean, it's not that I couldn't do the job, I guess. Maybe I couldn't because I was too extreme. I was like, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. And they're like, no, I just wanted a term life policy for $50,000. I only wanted to pay $14.95 a month. I'm like, what? Are you serious, Clark? So, getting people to save their money was just a waste of time.
Yeah.
So this opportunity came along to convince them to spend it. And that's all we've done since. And we've reinvested it, luckily. It's not like we just took the money we've made in the past 10 years would go and taken trips. I mean, I haven't been on vacation in 3 years. I kid you not. I mean, I've been on quasi-vacations, 3 to 4 days tops. And it's all been in conjunction with the business.
Right.
So it's also been like employees are invited. We do this year, the past 2 to 3 years, I think it's been 3 years, we've done a paid ski trip to North Carolina. I rent a house. Everybody in the company who's employed who comes up can stay. Started out 1 free night and a reduced rate the second night. The last time we went, it was 2 free nights, 3 full days. It's like indoor heated swimming pool, hot tub on the back deck, pool table upstairs, movie theater.
And y'all all stay in one big house.
Yeah, huge house. Sleeps 22 to 25 people.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's just
so it's like a big family. It's a go family.
That's the goal. The desire is that's what it becomes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to just make a Bed Bath & Beyond of outdoors. I don't want to be an outdoor boutique that just sells a little bit of just enough outdoor crap to call you an outfitter, but you're really just selling t-shirts.
Yeah.
That's been predominant in the industry for the past at least 5 to 7 years, where it turns into a shirt shop and you got like one lone sleeping bag over in the corner to say we're an outfitter. We really want to push the whole concept. Just means that if you if you're trying to do that, you don't get to go do that very much. You got to be there. You got people coming through daily, taking trips all over the U.S. and before COVID, worldwide. People coming in, going to Italy, and telling me all about what they're gonna do in Italy. I'm like, you wankers! I hope you stump your toe on the way out the door. I hope you stump your toe on the way out. I'm so jealous.
I know. That's what a lot of people who haven't been in business for themselves, they think, oh, you own a business and it must be nice and you're just sitting back collecting money. But what people don't realize is
those are called insurance agents and government employees.
Okay, we may have to edit.
You might need to edit that. I don't care. You can
okay.
edit it or leave it because it's the factual truth. Insurance agents literally make money while they sleep on residuals.
Yes, they do.
Worked for one for over a year.
Also, real estate investors do too.
Real estate investors, they do. But real estate investors actually take inventory of the real estate.
That is true. We do work very hard.
Ask a company who touts being a business owner how much inventory they hold on a quarterly basis. And real estate agents, no offense, real estate agent friend of mine who's listening who rides a purple bike, they don't hold any inventory.
Yes.
So when you're a real estate investor, you're taking a massive risk.
Yeah.
2007? What if you bought tons of stuff in 07, 08 and 09 hit? Yeah. And you're like, oh boy, I just lost 30% of my whole portfolio value gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus the bank ain't giving you no loans then. They didn't have PPP, any of the stuff they have this year.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely rough for a lot of people. A lot of people who were over leveraged really lost their butts. We can kind of dive into all of that, but yeah, it's like right now we're kind of waiting on the market to cycle back down. So we're not holding anything right now. We're not buying and holding because the prices are too high. So you just kind of have to be able to step back and sort of look at the trends and kind of where you are. I mean, we're way overdue for a correction. I
mean, my dreams have been put on hold. 5 years of dreams put on hold because I can't afford to build a house these days.
Oh, no.
I'm like, dude, forget it. I'm just going to stay where I'm at, improve what I have, wait to invest, hope that I make some money out some other way so that if this corrects, I can capitalize. But you never know if it's even going to correct.
Yeah, I mean, if we have the amount of inflation that people are talking about,
Oh, you said inflation. You just lost half your listeners.
No, I was talking about inflation almost every week, probably. But okay, so back to the store though, because I really do want to get into that. So you were kind of talking about really like living the Outfitters lifestyle, and so you guys have expanded over the years. You've got the bicycle shop, which I know is a big deal. My husband is still an avid bicycler, cyclist, and we've bought several bikes from you. Fantastic bikes, my bicycle, and you were still continuing to expand that portion of it.
I think we're probably done physical square footage expanding.
Are you maxed
under
out?
my current leadership?
What does that mean?
That means if I'm the sole person calling all the shots and making all the decisions, then we have reached the square footage potential of my brain.
I get it.
Any more growth will require more of my physical and mental capacity than I'm willing to commit just to achieve that little bitty bit more. Now, if we could find a way to invest others, bring others on board to grow it to the next phase, you don't go from 6,000 square feet to 8 or 10. You go to 60. Yeah. You skip all that crap in the middle. If you're going to be under 10,000 square feet, under 20 employees, stay there. If you try to go, you said 21, 31, 41, you go into those next little categories, you're wasting your time. You're leading the pack so you can break ground so all the sled dogs come right behind you and ride everything you just made for them. So we're cool staying there unless we find a way to, and I find a way to diversify the company out so that we can bring on others to help the whole process, and then skip that middle phase.
Yeah, But I know too, you're really passionate about other things.
Absolutely.
You know, you've been very instrumental with a lot of the trails that we now have in Gadsden. You want to go into that a
I
little
wouldn't
bit?
say instrumental. I mean, the store's been instrumental.
The store.
Because the fact that you have a store where people can come and congregate, they may not ever talk to me. They may come in the bike shop door, talk to the guys in the bike shop, have a rapport with them, and leave and go volunteer to help build trail. Go volunteer to pick up trash. Go to the local council meeting and voice an opinion for the increase of trail. And yes, indirectly, yeah, maybe I have had some instrumental involvement, but been there, yeah, for sure, as far as a single voice. But you got to also remember, I mean, I'm 10 years into biz. So 10 years ago, I was 31 years old, newbie back to the area because I was gone for 10 years. Didn't go to elementary school with some of these folk, or their moms or sisters didn't babysit me. So they're not listening to me at 31. But that doesn't matter. What matters is that we end up with the trails. Because it's been proven that once you build the trails, they will come.
Yeah.
And look at the campground. There's no vacancy.
Yeah.
Don't tell them I said this, but I think they're charging too little for their spaces. They're like $28 a night. They could be $35
For the primitive camps.
for the yeah. And then who knows about the RVs? Because I can't afford an RV yet, so I don't know what the RV costs are. But still, they're still always full up.
Hey, you
And
know
so-
that they have like RV Airbnb. Where you
That's
can,
an ingenious idea.
You get an RV. I actually have friends who do this as a strategy for their real estate portfolio.
Yeah, absolutely. Buy an RV, clean it up, park it in a spot, pay all the fees, and then let somebody show up.
They actually have big.
I want to do like Airbnb yurts.
Hey, my friends that own.
You know that'd be good, don't you?
My friends that own Big Wheels.
Yeah.
You know the.
Big Wheels Outfitters.
It is Big
You know
Wheels
talking about Josh
Outfitters.
Staples?
Yeah, I was like, y'all should build a yurt there for like a little Airbnb experience. I think that'd be so much
Absolutely,
fun.
man. Dude, a yurt or a platform teepee. I've
Yeah.
stayed in a platform teepee camping in Missouri a long time ago, and it was great. It was literally a teepee with bunk beds all the way around it, and all your central stuff in the middle, and it felt great.
They have a place in Georgia that's like glamping like that. I'm not much of a camper.
Well, you know.
I'm sorry.
You know, nobody's perfect. Come on. You'll get better. You'll get there eventually.
I mean, I think I could do it.
You know, there's levels of camping, and, you know, maybe too many people think of camping as a Coleman tent out in the woods, getting bit by mosquitoes.
It's the bugs.
Scavenging around to find some wood to build a fire, and then eating something from a can or ramen noodles. And yeah, that's somebody's version of camping. Unfortunately, it was the guy who spoke the loudest that everybody listened to. But there's other options for camping. And glamping isn't really glamping. It was camping. It's just somebody pointed their finger at it and said, that's not right. You're not doing it the right way. You're supposed to be miserable. Really? Are you supposed to be miserable? So anyways. But if you're miserable because you got bit by a bug, then, you know, toughen up, buttercup.
I know.
You got to get bit like 50 times before you start complaining. Okay.
49
bites is like, okay, it's starting to get annoying.
Listen, I mean, I'm really not a girly girl because, I mean, I work in the farm. I don't mind digging in the dirt, tractors,
how
bush
many
hunting,
kids?
all that. 3. I
Yeah,
don't,
no,
I don't
you're
mind all
not.
that. I got bit by a black widow spider last year.
Serious, Clark. Dude, how did that feel right away, like the first 10 seconds?
I didn't know.
You didn't even know? Oh, that's promising. How
It
did it
is
feel
freaky.
after 10 minutes?
I don't know.
What'd you...
Well, so
did you
this is
pass
what
out?
happened.
Did you see it and faint?
This is what happened. So we realized that in our pumpkin patch, black widows love to be under pumpkins.
Wow.
It's
That's
like-
so fitting, too, because
it's like
the
the-
pumpkin's like perfect for Halloween. Black Widows, perfect
Oh, I
for
never
Halloween.
thought about that, but that's so true.
I mean, dude.
So
if God had
almost
planned it any better.
I would say probably every other pumpkin that we flipped over
Don't
to
sleep in
pick
a pumpkin patch.
had a black widow under it.
Okay.
We'd have to kill him. So I was in the shower and I was shaving my legs and I felt something on the back of my leg and I thought it was like a dirt clot. Okay.
What?
And I started trying to.
This is turning into like the movie Scream.
And so I was trying to like get it off, because
You're like,
I'm like, oh, I've got dirt, like mud or something, and I was trying to like rub it off, and it wasn't coming off. So then I like flipped my leg around and looked at it, and I realized that it was this like really gross necrosis infection on the back of my leg, and the reason I couldn't feel it was the reason I thought it was dirt is because I didn't have any feeling.
Well, at least the spider wasn't still there, because the whole main narrative was leading to you turned around and there was a spider like clinging to your leg, growing bigger and implanting its eggs in your skin.
No, I still have a hole in the back of my leg,
dude.
But I totally freaked out. Like I almost had an anxiety attack about it.
Kind of like you don't expect to see that. You might expect to see a cut,
but because I was like, "There's poison in my leg."
I actually have something on my leg right now. I want to check now. Can we pause for a second? I'm kidding.
Anyway, how did we get off on spider bites? I don't know. We're talking about camping.
Camping,
so,
yeah. And pumpkin patches.
Pumpkin patches.
Don't sleep in a pumpkin patch. You're full of black widows.
Right, if you're going to pick pumpkins.
That's crazy, man.
Flip them over.
I didn't know that about the black widows on pumpkins, though.
It makes a lot of sense, though, because they really do love that little moist. It's a perfect spot for them. It's dark.
Okay, so
scary.
Rewind us. Get us back on track.
Back on track.
You're there for that.
So we've got Gadsden Outfitters, and you feel like you're pretty good there, but
I don't know. Well, I didn't say I'm pretty good there. I mean, I'm scared every day I wake up. I think somebody's going to eat my lunch.
What's with the brick through the window?
I don't know.
Has that happened a bunch of times? I saw that
3 times.
You think it's just punks?
Dude, it's just a crime of opportunity, man. Well, the first time was planned for sure. The first time they broke in, they threw a builder through the window and stole like 20 grand worth of jackets. But they went past other crap to get to the rack that had the gold. And then they didn't, on the way out, take those other racks. Most of the time, a thief might come. Should I even divulge this? Anyways, thief might come through and go past the crap they don't want to get to first and get the good stuff. Once the good stuff's secured, they may go, free for all, let's grab what we can now and let's get out of here. They didn't do that either. They were very strategic. They did not set off my alarm at the time. They were able to throw a brick through the window. Now, partly might have been the alarm company issues, but nonetheless, they came in, they left, and they left 2 hangers laying on the sidewalk in perfect unison together with the driver and passenger, or the passenger front and passenger rear door. And they weren't like misshapenly, like haphazardly falling on the ground. They seemed to be like laid there, perfect, both of them at the same angle, both at the same orientation, the hangers pointed in the same directions. Now maybe they all just fell out of the jackets on happenstance, but my brain says they did it on purpose.
Why do you think that?
I just think the statistical odds of 2 hangers falling out in the same place and landing perfectly aligned with one another.
I can get that, but what do you think of this symbolism?
Just to say, hey, we this wasn't just a random. We were there before. We were there in your store before it happened. We came back and did this, and now we're letting you know that, hey, we did this, even though we probably even talked to you. It's possible they've even had a conversation with me, no different than you and I are having today. But, I was upset, and of course I was upset. The second time, it was just some junkie throwing a brick through a window to grab my register. He was in for 7 seconds. We have him on camera, 7 seconds in, 7. He's out, he's gone. He got the register and the change in the register. It caused me more headache and damage and the destruction than the money he got. The third time, the brick through the window in the bike shop, I guess it was the same thing. There's more going on there, and I think the investigation might still be ongoing, so I don't want to divulge too much, but more was done than needed to be done to get what they got. Like, they got 2 registers, but they did a whole lot more than necessary to get that. They took a lot of risk for a little reward.
I was going to say that is a big risk.
A lot of risk, a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And you go messing with electricity and just to get some registers. Okay. Darwinism is okay if we allow it to happen. Unfortunately, we all, like half the country or half the population believes in Darwinism or the survival of the fittest, but that's the same half of the people that keep trying to save everybody.
I was so making this point the other day. I'm like,
Right.
hey, if you believe in evolution, then, I mean,
Why are you trying to save everybody then?
that's so bad. We're totally going to edit all of this out.
What the
This
hell?
whole part is getting edited out.
Like if you so much believe in all that stuff, sorry, and then you're gonna work so bloody hard to restrict the rest of us to save the dumbest of us. I'm like,
Yeah.
let the dumb die. Let the dumb die.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they replicate, and they do replicate at a higher rate than the rest of us. They're like bloody rabbits.
And two, then the people who believe in evolution and survival of the fittest are also the ones who try to save every species, every little toad and every little owl and rat. And
I find myself somewhere in the middle of all that. I mean, there's this bird in New Zealand that's like I got down to like the last 20 of them. And so they're put them on this island that no natural predators on, and they're replicating. So I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. But then I think of the dodo, and I'm like, that was one ugly bird. Did we really need it? I mean, what did it eat that bothered me? Did it eat mosquitoes? Because if it eats mosquitoes, then please save it.
yeah,
And I thought about planting bat boxes all around the house. I'm like, let's get some bats around this area.
You can get marlins with the gourds.
Purple marlins, yeah. You gotta
I'm
research
gonna
that,
try
buying a
some of
marlin
those.
house and putting it up, but it's a little more complicated than it sounds.
Yeah, my mother-in-law has them at her house.
You gotta have the right topography and like an open field on a pole near
Close
a
to
water
water.
source. Yeah, they got to be able to they swoop in to go into the house. So if it's in wooded area, they're not going to be able to get into it. Plus, you got to get them to actually stop there on the migration so that they'll start using it. But I'm not opposed to marlins, but bats we have everywhere.
We have a geese problem right now.
No kidding, really. There's a whole protection for them around here, I think.
There's protection for geese.
In certain areas, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I tried to tell him I was a known goose killer. I asked Josh about that story.
Oh man, I was riding through the back parking lot of my store one evening, probably 6 months ago or less, maybe even 4 months ago, and one of those bloody geese, ducks, ugly looking sucker, walking across the back parking lot. So instead of braking, I just looked to the right and drove normally until I hit it. Well, it turns out that while that was happening, what happened was, while that was happening, a lady that works in the hair salon was standing out on the landing by the door, talking on the phone, watching the whole thing, of course, and she freaked out. She was like trying to flag me down, like, don't run it over, and I was trying to ignore her while I ran it over. And then afterwards, she was like, goose killer, and she's flicking me a bird.
Oh my God.
And so I was like, and then she went, it's still flopping. I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'll go back. So I was going to put it in reverse. I literally put it in reverse. And she was like, no. Like, well, now it needs, I
Trey,
need
is
to
this
run
a
it
true
over.
story?
True is a hard time.
Oh
dude.
my
Dude,
God.
we literally had to go shovel it and throw it across the road.
Oh my gosh. I did kill a goose one time, but it was an accident.
No,
I killed
this
it with
was-
a golf
This was-
ball.
This was full on like plausible deniability. I was looking the wrong way.
I hit one with a pink.
But they poop on everything.
Oh, they're horrible.
Hey, dude, they're killing islands in our lakes. Go to Neely Henry Lake. Go roll through there and look at some of those islands that are now clumps of dirt. Because they go roost there. They poop there. They just kill and nitronize everything until you went from having some trees on a dirt plot to now you got a red dirt hill.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a balance.
Yeah.
I was just a balance that day. I was the yang to the yin. Ish. But to her, I will forever be goose killer.
Goose killer. You
Goose
definitely
killer.
you lost a customer.
Goose killer. I don't know. She might have been the customer. She might not have.
Probably not.
You know,
Maybe
statistical odds are that she wasn't. So I'm good.
All right. So we've talked about the store. We've talked about wildlife, biking trails, and then I happen to know. Have you made an announcement about your new venture?
GoSessionit.com or GoSessionit. Nope. I've made no public announcement about it, except for in the store, of course, when I talk to people. Mm-hmm. To preface it, man, 2 years ago, it was 100 degrees in October. And I noticed that everybody gets their boats out at the end of whatever holidays in May. Is it Memorial Day?
Memorial Day. Mm-hmm.
So they get their boats out on Memorial Day, and they put them out when kids go back to school. Now August the 6th, which is redonkulous. But there's a whole lot longer season available to us in this area to utilize the water. Mm-hmm. And I can understand why the most folks just can't afford to do it, because they got lives to lead, they got all this other things they feel important to engross themselves in. Mm-hmm. And so I started thinking, I need to get a boat. So we bought one. We bought in December a wake surfing boat, a Malibu 23 LSV. Makes supposedly the biggest wave on the market. So my desire is to session it out for folks who want to go rip it up, but can't really justify buying that kind of boat and or keeping the boat out of dry storage into September, October, or getting it out into April and May.
Right.
And the majority of the time they actually are going to use it are June, July, and August. So hopefully we're able to evolve the business, be able to direct people to our website, build their package for the day of whatever day it is they want to enjoy it. And however many, it seats up to 15 people, so they can really.
So are you going to let people rent this out and drive it themselves?
No, we're renting a boat and driver.
Gotcha.
This ain't no pleasure cruise.
Okay. I was a little confused about that. Like, how is this going to happen? What is your insurance?
Well, actually, before I came here, I spent the past hour on the website, going through the first draft of the website, so that we can get the website to tell the story as soon as you come to it. But yes, we'll be renting the boat and driver, who has a Garmin GPS echolocation system on the boat that tells you everything underneath the water. So we know our routes. We have our routes mapped out on the Coosa, on the Neely Henry, on Weiss Lake, up to Gunnersville Lake. And the website will have the ability to add on a teaching package. We'll look for instructors. We're already starting to work on our drivers. We've got some state troopers and firefighters in our local area who want to pick up some extra money on the side. Pay them probably about $15 an hour to drive the boat on the lake. For 4-hour shifts.
It's a great gig, man.
Drive the boat, stay on the red line dot from Garmin, and don't deviate. Don't go over there, don't go over there, don't go left and right. Just go down the path we already have marked. Let everybody play and have a blast. Drop them back off at the dock at Chili's for lunch when they're done. So, that's the first iteration. And if we can prove proof of concept, build the website so that it functions correctly. And this year's an exploratory year, so even when we deal with our drivers, bringing in the new guys to learn, we're really doing it so that next year we have a good cadre of drivers built up.
Yeah.
It's not about making the money this year. The business has always been about baby steps. Walk it slowly, have a vision, a long-term vision, and make every step count towards that vision. If you're moving left and right, constantly zigzagging in life or in your business, then you really don't have a long-term goal plan. So, because you're kind of going with whichever way the wind blows. Now, sometimes we bring in brands to the store like that because it's the hot brand.
Right.
But we're still working on the category itself, like shoes. If we're working on the shoe category, we're not just focusing on the new Hey Dudes that are the hot thing. We're still looking for long-term growth from our core brands. Same way with the business that we're starting this summer. We want to be able to take people out so they can enjoy the water like all the rich folk, the haves and the have-nots, the people who have the ability to be on the water all the time, and the people who can't be on the water. And then there's people stuck in the middle with a pontoon. And
That's where I live.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't even have a pontoon boat, actually.
Most people are in that boat. They're like, man, if I'm going to buy a boat, a pontoon's the most functional.
Yeah.
I can chill on it. I could sleep on it.
But the kids are not happy about it.
The kids are happy-ish.
Ish.
I mean, they're on a boat.
You can't tube or ski behind a pontoon.
No. You can inner tube behind one, perhaps, if you get 2 motors on the back of it.
Yeah.
My pontoon boat would be able to do it, but then again, why would I put that much effort into a pontoon?
Right.
So basically, enjoy the pontoon. I will develop a business that allows us to have a specialized boat for a specialized reason called to go session it. Rent it for a session. It's not about laying out and chilling, drinking beer, or any of that crap. It's about getting behind the boat and progressing your abilities. Learning to wake surf, and then learning to catch air off the top of that wave and throw a 360. All the way up to that point and anywhere in between. And
So wake surfing, is that done without a rope?
the rope is usually used to start.
Just to start, right?
Now, I have seen video of people leaving the surf deck on a board into the wave and then landing back on the surf deck when they're done, all while operating the boat from a remote and no one else on board.
That's insane.
Oh, it's insane. Like literally, the driver uses a remote. He leaves the boat, goes to the deck, gets on the board, gets behind the wave, and then drives the boat with a remote in his hand. And there is no one else on the boat. And then when it's time to get back on the boat, instead of shutting it all down and then swimming, just surfs right back to the surf deck, lands on the surf deck, steps up in the boat. It's possible, and I'm thinking I'm going to try to accomplish it. Not without a person on the boat to monitor, though.
Yeah. Just the starting and stopping part.
For the disclaimer purposes.
Yes. Yes.
Doesn't mean,
That's
you know.
correct.
You know. But still, the point is, we have a lot of water. We have a long summer season in Alabama. A lot of opportunity. I hope to take advantage of it and try to get it, built as best I can before somebody tries to copy it.
That's always the hard part.
Oh man, dude, in
The
this area for
competition.
sure. For some reason in Alabama and the northeast corner, for some reason, it's just like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my dad owned a tire and automotive shop over in Alexandria, and when he started, there was one other place in town. And then when he finally got out, there were 8, and they were within 3 miles of a stretch of the highway. It's like, what's wrong, guys? Couldn't y'all find something else to do? So yes, there will be people who come along and copy it, and maybe they'll teach me something that helps my business grow. But hopefully, we're able to get it established so it can become self-sustaining, because I think it's possible I may be losing money for the next couple of years trying to get it off the ground, because I don't really have, there's no other place that I know of that's already doing it in Alabama, and honestly I don't know if there are in other states either. I haven't really looked. I haven't researched too much besides that. I know in Alabama there hasn't, because I've already looked for the opportunity to go do it.
Right.
Researched it, trying to do it myself. I'm like, I just
So
want
is
to go.
this just specifically for the wake surfing? So it's not to ski, it's not to...
We'll do all the other stuff.
You will?
But those packages will be add-on packages.
I gotcha.
So if you want to have a ski experience, then it's this much on top of the boat, the driver, and the gear for wake surfing. We
Yeah.
won't exclude. We just know that the likelihood of injury is going to go up with the speed in which you're doing the sport.
Oh, okay. All right.
So the faster you have to be going to do the sport, the more likely you're going to tear an ACL, MCL, you're going to jack a back, you're going to do something that's unnecessary to
Right.
have fun. I mean, those things are fun. Used to love kneeboarding, inner tubing, wakeboarding, all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm 14, heck yeah, I'm made of cartilage. I'm good with that. But at 40, I'm starting to think, well, what's the risk versus reward?
Risk reward ratio. I talk about it all the time.
If there's a bunch of 22-year-olds who want to go out and do wakeboarding, our boat and driver will be rentable for that. They'll pay for that.
Yeah.
And we'll make money for that. Absolutely, no problem. But my goal and desire is that we just turn more and more people onto wake surfing. And then in turn, the importance of our waterways in general. I mean, we have a resource here, and as long as we take care of it, it's great. But if we have things pumping into the river faster than the ecological process can break it down, dilute it, and dispose of it, well, then we're just swimming in lead. Or any other leakage from different retaining places with regards to coal ash to Alabama Power. Sorry, guys. I know that's oxymoronic power company. Not oxymoronic, actually, foreshadowing. What's the real word? The power company. It's both literal and figurative.
Yes.
They got a lot of power.
They do have a lot of power.
And we respect them for that. We enjoy the power that they provide us. But if the coal ash pond's leaking into the river and is putting mercury levels higher than they should be, then that's a concern. Or if we have a rendering plant that dumps crap into the Gadsden waterworks system that already seems to be a little overloaded, and that goes in. Plus, we've got the dump out at Hoax Bluff, the landfill pumping who knows what out in, and you got Goodyear that no one even monitored for who knows how long before the EPA got, made them clean up their act.
Yeah.
Our water becomes very important, and our water, unfortunately, in the Coosa is very dirty. So maybe if people go out and enjoy it more and have a way to enjoy it without having to be the haves who have the big pontoon or the big wake surfing boat, they get to go out and enjoy it as a family on a Sunday afternoon, and they go, wow, this is important to me now.
Yeah.
It's all of a sudden important for me to join Coosa River Keepers or to petition my legislator or beg the power company at least to fix their problems.
Right.
We're all working together here. It ain't like the people on the mid-level management at Alabama Power live in Massachusetts. They live in this area too.
Yeah.
They don't want their kids with an open cut getting gangrene because they went in the river.
Yeah.
So, nonetheless, it has an ecological effect too. It's not our main goal. It's a nice icing on the cake.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's brilliant. I've often wondered why no one stepped out to try to utilize the this wonderful natural resource that we have here. We've got tons and tons of waterfront property. It's beautiful, and it does. If you compare, because I'm always thinking about real estate. So if you compare like our waterfront values to that on nationwide, not even nationwide, statewide, we're some of the lowest in the state. Our prices for waterfront property, and I think it's because we're kind of forgotten, and maybe because we do have the sort of the dirty water aspect that people, that bad reputation that we've had in the past. So I commend you for what you're doing, and I hope everybody gets behind you and supports you on, and everybody else on cleaning up the waterways, and because it's going to be good for everyone, not just from an environmental standpoint, but from an economic standpoint as well.
Absolutely. You're not going to build a golf course on a landfill that you're still smelling a landfill.
Right.
If you want to have better land values and you want to see those properties go up in value, which equates to property taxes to the county, and all the other trickle-down effects that happen from shopping and restaurateurship to just medical services alone. It all kind of ties around some of your central benefits. You have certain things you're really good at, so focus on them. Gadsden, Etowah County specifically, over the whole state, has a lot of opportunity. And Cherokee County, of course.
Yeah.
Cherokee County even probably more. Just because it's not only, that forgotten thing you said about that maybe we're forgotten, I'm okay with that, because that gives me a chance to get involved, to get invested before somebody from Chattanooga, Birmingham, or California decides, hey, I could buy that whole place.
Yeah.
There's people probably sitting in other states looking at our water frontage going, man, I could buy that whole peninsula. I could buy every house on that whole lot if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And they might. It's getting to the point, they've all moved to Nashville and Asheville and a lot of other cities throughout the U.S. just trying to escape the craziness of the West Coast. And they're looking at buying. And
we have a ton of money flooding in Huntsville and Birmingham.
Huntsville's going to get nuts.
Huntsville's been nuts. It is insane up there. I have people call me all the time from out of state, California in particular, who want to invest in Huntsville, and I just giggle now because I'm like, huh.
I think it's still on the ups. It could be like it's been boomed. I believe it's going to make it still going to go up.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine who sells real estate up there, regularly, and he was telling me that they are getting upwards of 15 offers within the first 24 hours of pretty much anything listed in Huntsville proper or west of there. That people are doing crazy things like no inspections. They're offering to cover appraisal gaps.
Inspections? Why? If you're going to bulldoze the whole thing so you can build something else, why do you need an inspection?
Well, I don't think these are
Some
necessarily like bulldozers. I mean, in bulldoze houses, I think that the inventory is so low, and there's so much money flooding into there for investment opportunities that people are just paying crazy prices.
Some people have come in my store and told me stories about people buying houses, even on Weiss Lake, and completely demolishing them the day they bought them.
Yeah.
Just scraping it off and starting over.
I know that's happening.
Honestly, after going into a lot of houses lately, I mean, we've bought a house here in Gadsden a couple of years ago from
Purple Bike Lady.
Let me rephrase that. We lived in Gadsden 10 years ago. We moved out into the county to get land. And then 3 years ago, we moved back into Gadsden. We basically gutted the entire house because it was a great house, great location. Old and dated. Oh, boy, it's old and dated. No offense to the family that lived there, but there's no reason for 4 rooms when it could be 1. And it actually is more enjoyable as 1 room instead of 4 separate rooms with doors and closets in them. It's like, why do we need all that? So there's a lot of opportunity there. There's just some old houses and some folks who've let it. They just really didn't need to update it. So forgotten part of it I'm okay with. The other part of it though is you're right. We have a reputation a little, just a little. We can change it, but that is a little dirty, but that's all fixable.
But I think
quick and easy.
Yeah, but I think if people see other people investing,
absolutely,
then that's what turns it around. It's always, you always have to have that first person that gets up and starts dancing.
Hey, that's why we go. That ties back to the whole concept of someone else will come along and try to do the same business that we're doing. Yeah. Is while the negatives are, they'll jump on and do the same thing you're doing. If they see you doing something positive, they'll also jump on and do something positive. So you got to really understand the clientele of the area, the people of the area. You open a shaved ice and everybody drives there, then you're going to open 5 shaved ice. Next thing you know, there's too many shaved ice. But you create the concept of don't throw your litter out the window and clean up. And maybe everybody else will jump on that. Yeah. And if we can find a way to make it fun, show them a reason why they should do this.
I love that.
So just like with the trails up at Nakalula Falls, just convincing them to build them, and then all of a sudden people are driving from all over the place to come and ride the trails because they can hit 5 trail systems within 2 hours of Gadsden. Wow. I mean, we're set. We've got Oak Mountain and Coldwater and Fort McClellan and Gadsden and Cloudland Canyon, all the way up into Trenton, Georgia, which is still well within range. And I'm not mentioning a bunch of other smaller trail systems. Yeah. So there's a lot of potential.
And I think I had a talk with Josh, bless his heart. I'm a visionary. I don't know if you figured that out. Which means I have crazy ideas and big dreams, and so normally the person who gets the first pitch is always Josh. And
unfortunately, you can't read him. You're like, okay, he thinks that's horrible.
That's exactly what happens.
He thinks that's a horrible
Exactly what happens. Or he'll be like, I love you. That's what he'll say. I love you, but I mean,
boy.
And you're like, I just
like,
totally just blew my pitch, because when he says that, then that just means, to me, it means rephrase and try harder.
Yeah. I could see that.
But I was talking to him the other night about how, we really do need a draw here. I feel like something, and I think that the water, the river, the lakes, I think that has to be a huge part of it. So it can't always just be about what industry do we have. Because that doesn't equate to a lifestyle, that people want to live.
I mean, when Goodyear was here, I'm not sure there were many who woke up like Snow White singing with birds on their shoulders about going in to work at Goodyear. They went to work at Goodyear because it provided a lifestyle for their wife and their children. It provided ability to provide for them even after they're gone. but it wasn't the job itself. It was what it provided to others.
Right.
The people who worked there were really sacrificial. They sacrificed themselves to work in that kind of place, that kind of industry. I grew up in a house right next door, literally to the fence line of the golf course. I used to go down this little alley and take all the golf balls that came through the fence and clean them up and resell them. This was like in 1984. No, wait, not 84, 86.
I love it when people tell me these little stories about.
Yeah.
I had Mac Butler on last week, and he had a paper out when he was 11, which was just, you think about an 11-year-old now riding their bicycle.
No, you're like, what's wrong with their parents? Crazy fools.
Exactly.
It's like, well, that's normal. Was normal. Y'all just let it become unnormal.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, used to go down behind my house that is now the Walmart Garden Center, literally. I kid you not. I think it's literally on the foundation of that. But I would go down the alley and I would look for the golf balls. There was another older guy in town who was really good at it, so I had to beat him out there before he took them from me, because he had like 3 wheelbarrows full of golf balls in his basement. I would go over and like mesmerized at all the golf balls he had. I was like, oh my gosh, you've got gold. You know, as a kid, as a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
So I'm as a 6-year-old, I'm like crawling through the woods. I could get the ones he was too lazy for. And I would clean them up, and literally I'd try to sell them back to the golfers through the fence. Sometimes I might have snuck under the fence to go get one out on the fairway. But nonetheless, you know, that's where, you know, I started, and I digress because I don't even know where I was
We were just
going
talking about
before that.
Goodyear and, you know, and about
Oh, yeah,
growing
Goodyear.
up there. Yeah.
Well, I remember the front porch of that house I lived in. No matter how much my mom scrubbed the front porch, every time we went out there to play, and that's where we played a lot because it was out of the house, but not out of her sight, we always had lamp black feet. I mean, every time we come back in, black feet. She could go out there and put Dawn dish detergent all over that sucker and scrub it with Brillo pads. And it would look spotless, but you would still end up with black feet. And that's what you get from tire manufacturing. No offense to those who do it. It's an important part of our existence. We love our cars. We want to be able to, we love the freedom our cars provide, and can't move them without tires.
Right.
Making them in China, at least it messes up the Yellow River and not the Coosa. But nonetheless, sorry, edit that.
I mean, it's a point.
Yeah. So it's not just about the industry. It's not just bringing an industry in to give people jobs. It becomes a quality of life.
Right.
In the 2020s through 2030 to 2040 maybe, we should think about seriously how much we enjoy our daily life. Instead of thinking about going to that shift, first, second, or third shift, or getting to those hours that meets the budget necessities, maybe you should be thinking about how much you actually enjoy the day that you have. You know, is Tuesday just another work day, or is there something special about it?
Yeah.
You know, do you go for Taco Tuesday and have a margarita, or are you just thinking about what you got to do on Wednesday?
Would I have home to me?
Because if all you're thinking about is what you got to do on Wednesday, what was the point of doing Wednesday so you can have Thursday? Next thing you know, all you're thinking about is the next day, the next game, the next ball fill, the next schedule that changed on you, and it went from a Saturday morning at 9 to a Saturday at 4, and you're like, we got to cancel our reservations. Or cancel our Alabama-Auburn football game tickets because my kid's game got moved. Oh, nobody would do that.
Oh, not in this town, not in this state.
I don't know.
But
man.
I get you. I mean, it is, and I find myself sometimes in that horrible pattern.
Yeah.
Of just being in the grind and pushing so hard, and you're like, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I'm a workaholic, and I'm probably a little mentally ill, if we're going to be honest about it.
Most likely.
You know, but I create chaos in my life when I'm stressed out, and I stay stressed out a pretty good bit. So I just create more chaos, which stresses me out even more. And it's just like,
and then no wonder you wake up on graduation night and you're like, where did all the years go when my kid's leaving?
Yeah.
And for the past 4 years of their life, before they even graduated, they were already doing their own thing. I mean, you were pushing them when they were in middle school, elementary school to get to live that lifestyle. Not you specifically.
Yeah.
We, as a society, we're pushing our kids to live that life. So why does it surprise us all of a sudden when they the 14 to 18, they're living their own lives, and then boom, they're gone, and you're like, where the heck did the time go? Because you were too busy thinking about Wednesday on Tuesday instead of having tacos.
I love this.
That's bloody tacos, baby.
I mean tacos.
Wait, what day is it? Wednesday?
Wednesday. I actually had tacos yesterday on Tuesday.
Okay, yeah. A Taco Tuesday's become a huge thing, man. We need a Wednesday thing now. What's Wednesday? I mean, obviously go to church. Mm-hmm. If that so leads you to. So otherwise, what else can we do on Wednesday? Wednesday, well, what food starts with a W? Wings.
Waffles.
Ooh, waffles.
Wings and waffles. So if you guys have any ideas for the other 5 days of the week, be sure to drop us a little comment. So Trey, this has been absolutely enjoyable. I've learned so much about you and the store, and I feel pumped up about the future of our little town, and especially knowing that that there are people out there like yourself and others that I've had the pleasure of knowing who care and who who are willing to put in the hard work to make it what it can be. And so thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Now, if somebody wants to get in touch with you to come see you at the store, let's go through all of your contact information. The store is located
South 4th Street, across from Chick-fil-A, next to the Gadsden Mall, right on the alley side. Now, I used to call it the Sears side. Now I get to give a free plug to the alley. You're welcome, Ashman.
And then, when are you going to start taking reservations for the boating?
Really taking that very cautiously.
Okay.
First and foremost, the boat gets delivered this month. I saw no reason to take possession of it in January when it was cold, so I left it. It's on the showroom, so they're going to bring it. We're going to teach us. We're going to work with our drivers and make sure we have our routes planned out. So hopefully mid-May-ish, we're able to start doing some preliminary. We're going to do some, if you're interested also, if your listeners are interested, we're going to do some free days, some demo days, some you got to fill out a questionnaire before getting on the boat and after leaving the boat, kind of give us a before and after belief and preconceived notions kind of concept.
Yeah. Great.
Plus, every time we take it out, it's an advertising / business expense. Mm-hmm. And we'll be ironing that out. Hopefully, we'll be limited. Not hopefully be limited. Our plan is to keep it limited for the first year, just so we can make sure we don't hurt anybody, we don't mess the boat up, because we are in an area that has a lot of shallow water and stuff. So we'll figure all that out. Mm-hmm.
So they probably just follow you on social media, just follow the store possibly?
We have GoSessionIt.com, so they should check out
Go Session It.
It comes kind of from the mountain bike side of it and the snowboarding side of it, and then the skateboarder side. It's a session. You're going out to really improve yourself.
Yeah.
So GoSessionIt.com, and we have a Facebook page already under the same name.
Okay.
But the store is the number one way. Either walk in or call. Mm-hmm. We luckily have 547-7779, so it's a good number. It's easy to remember, 547-7779.
Like 504 Jodi.
Yeah, calling 504 Jodi. Wow, is that what you got?
What? You didn't know this?
No, I didn't know that.
504 JODI.
Man, dude, I'm oblivious to so much. Somebody asked me today that
your cousin made me famous for 504 Jodi.
504 Jodi. That sounds like it should be an 80s song.
504 Jodi.
Don't stop it. Next thing you know, you need Joey Statham doing it.
We may edit that.
Edit that. Why?
No.
Sorry.
You took it too far. So
that's the great thing about it.
And so if you're listening to the podcast and you don't know what Trey looks like, if you go in the store and you see a guy on a one wheel, or if you get hit in the side of the head by a what do we call those?
Pocket disc.
A pocket
crocheted
disc.
Frisbee.
Yeah, it's a crocheted frisbee.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
or Jamaican yarmulke that we turned into.
That's so wrong on so many levels. We may get canceled.
Jamaican yarmulke. Yeah, I can see that. That's absolutely wrong.
That's funny. It's still funny.
So not right. But
yeah,
cool, man.
That's gonna be Trey.
Gosh, man, honored to be here. I don't even I don't even know what to say when someone says, "Hey, you want to be on a podcast?"
It was good.
Good. I'm glad. I'm
I
glad.
enjoyed it. Thank you so much. So.
Cool.
Well, all right, guys, that's going to wrap up this week's episode with Trey Staples of Go. So if you guys need any real estate help, be sure to check us out at jngrealestate.com, and be sure to like and subscribe this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating. That really helps us get our message out to everyone, to other people. And then, of course, you can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Our Flipping Life, and on Instagram at our.flipping.life. That's all for today, guys. We'll see y'all next week. Bye, y'all.